first woman prime minister, with heavyweights in her party apparently lining up to back her. The 56-year-old Ms. Koike, pictured here as a former TV anchorwoman who has been a defense minister and environment minister. She indicates, quote, "I want to consider what we need in general rather than my own individual situation." This one asked if she would seek the top job. She is an expert in the Middle East and fluent in both English and Arabic. She's also known for her close ties with reformist Prime Minister Kazumi, who was popular during his 2001 to 2006 tenure. As we speak out in Seattle, Boeing's largest union is voting to decide whether all 27,000 of their members will go out on strike. Leaders of the international machinists and aerospace workers have recommended that their members reject an offer from Boeing that includes an 11% wage hike and a 14% increase to monthly pension plans. The union said that the offers fall short in areas such as job security commitments, cost of living adjustment rates, medical plan costs, and pay increases for lower wage workers. To go on strike, the union needs the approval of 2/3 of its workers. Boeing is offering a $2,500 cash payment to each machinist if the contract is ratified. The vote should be known sometime later today. A strike could cost Boeing's commercial manufacturing business up to $120 million U.S. per day in lost revenue. Today's vote is happening amid a record order backlog for Boeing, which is also stumbling to deliver its 787 Dreamliner plane. The commercial aircraft has faced several scheduling setbacks. The machinists, of course, assemble Boeing's commercial aircraft and components. Some other air news: an Iran air flight heading to Tehran, taking off from Mumbai yesterday, returned to Mumbai, India, shortly after takeoff after one of its engines caught fire. All 294 passengers on board the Boeing 747-200 plane were safe after landing last night. Just an hour later at Mumbai Airport, an Air India flight en route from Kochi in southern India to Oman made an unscheduled stop there. The A320 had suffered a hydraulic engine failure and landed as a precaution. We always talk about global warming, and it seems, at least to this reporter, that sometimes we forget about one of the more prominent low-lying countries in the world. That, of course, is the Netherlands. We have a number of viewers in Holland, and this morning a Dutch government panel came out with a report that was televised, the results of which were televised nationally throughout Holland. And here's some information that might interest you. The Netherlands needs a massive new building program to strengthen the low-lying country's water defenses against the anticipated effects of global warming. The plan includes up to $145 billion US in new spending. Apparently, it's expected to be the central reference point for policymakers for decades to come. The Prime Minister, Jan-Peter Balkenende, in a nationally televised news conference today, promised to immediately begin drafting recommendations. Here's a map of Holland. Dutch policymakers have until now prepared for a rise in sea level of around 2.5 feet by the year 2100. The Commission said that Holland now needs to plan for a rise in sea level of up to 4.25 feet by 2100 and up to 13 feet by 2200. 66% of Holland's 16 million people already live below sea level, mainly on land reclaimed from the sea over centuries and protected by high banks of sand. The country has already budgeted about $1.5 billion US annually for urgent water defense projects over the coming 20 years with an eye toward global warming, and about $1 billion US is spent annually to maintain existing sea and river dikes. Some of the panel's specific recommendations include improving dike strength by a factor of 10, using offshore sand supplementation to broaden dunes that guard much of the country's central coast, strengthening sea dikes in the far north and south, and increasing the ability to absorb water arriving from the Rhine River by more than 10%. The worst flood in living memory in Holland was a 1953 flood in which a storm surge drove water along the Dutch coast more than 13 feet above normal levels. It drowned more than 1,800 people. So you can betcha that the Dutch are very carefully watching the rise in sea level due to global warming. If we have any other breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. If not, we'll see you tomorrow.